Okay, it's time to call the February 12th, today's February 12th, right?
Yes, it is.
Meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of North Bennington, and the first item on the agenda is the approval of the last meeting's minutes. That was Tuesday, January 8th. Any comments?
Well, I read them over, of course, and they look great.
One of our more interesting meetings.
Yeah, lots of activity. It was great.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll so move.
And I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And we have 3 warrants. The main warrant, with the additions that are in green. And so that brings the total warrant for the month up to $53,192.59. Anybody got any questions on any of the items? I was wondering, Laurie, the G. Myers and Goldstone Architect, what are those?
Gloria Myers, is that what you asked?
Yeah.
That's Ed's mom. She uses his credit card for purchases because they don't have one.
Okay.
And then they repay her. Goldstone Architect.
So those are fire department expenses?
Exactly.
Okay.
Goldstone Architect is part of the requirements from the attorney for the Navy.
Okay, he's doing the architectural look-through or whatever it is? Okay.
There were some names I just didn't recognize, so. Murray Brothers?
That's repairs to this building. Basically, underneath where Mark is sitting, there is a hatchway, and the kids remove it quite a bit. I mean, they use it for a jump, and because it's a steel hatchway, but it leads down to an opening. And we came in once this winter, and there was just a piece of foam that was kind of put in place, and it was probably okay when it was put in, but it was blown in, and it was one of our sub-zero days, and the pipes were all frosted. We actually, it's a good thing they probably did it on a Sunday, and we came in on a Monday, because we check this building every day in the wintertime. And what we have now is a secure big door, and then there's two slips in here for them. The other ones are for some weather stripping around the building. Some big doors in our other room, and we can certainly go over there and I'll show you, because there's some other things that I want you to see in that other side that we really need to talk about. But there were just big gaps, and they've been there for quite a long time as we're improving, getting the building up. I had them here, and it was just easy to do it and be done with it. But the door's secure now, because I honestly think somebody spent the night there, but really in downstairs. Well, they're not doing it anymore.
That was a pretty impressive panel they had there.
Yeah, it's called a stress can, and it's double wall with insulation in the middle, and it's lag bolted, so it can be removed. So if we ever need to get out there, the only thing we have to do this summer is paint it. We can handle painting because it's not like it's ever going to be seen by anyone else.
And Reynolds and Son?
That's fire department.
Okay.
For equipment.
Oh, okay. I'll move we accept the warrant.
Second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
This is last month, so it might help.
Okay, let's look at the Winco Foundation grant. This is the firehouse grant. It's a warrant for $5,929.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the last warrant is the payroll warrant Again, this is pretty standard.
Yep. I move we also approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I guess we don't have any citizens' comments today.
Seeing as how we have no citizens.
So that brings us to the Highway and Facilities Report. Norm, you got any exciting news for us?
Well, I mean, obviously, we've had quite a few snow events this month. This winter, we're considerably, it's a different number for our salt and sand budget than we ever have been. Well, at least than we were last year. Everything's going around pretty good. Our one truck that is broke down constantly, you'll see a pretty big warrant in there for one of the repair shops. That was actually from the October repair, and I don't know where the bill got. I don't know if it's our post, we got sent in the wrong mailbox, I don't know, when it came as the second notice, and that's the first notice I've ever seen.
Where was it from?
Well, Morris. It was like $1,400.
Yeah, for B2.
And I called them, and they were, you know, they were understanding. They said, just get it in, and I called them again when the warrant came out. So that was from that, and, but we got the other fuel injector, we changed that ourselves. So, watched a couple YouTube videos, and changed it, we tackled it, we got it done, so we saved $500 there. But we had a pretty big breakdown with our trackless the other day for our power, so, and it was in Albany today getting parts. So hopefully I'll have that fixed tomorrow. Other than that, you know, we've just been plugging along. Our building, again, we did some renovations to the door. It was actually, believe it or not, it was crazy luck that we had a carpenter here, because when they got into the tower's coming apart. So we're gonna have to be talking about that pretty soon. The roof is all, the rubber membrane is starting to break away. It's like a rubber tire that's dry rotted, and it's dry rotted, and we're gonna need to do some pretty good repairs in this building.
Is it actually leaking now, or?
I'm sure it is.
Yep.
Well, it's probably not leaking in, it's probably leaking in the wood, and, you know, we did that a couple years ago. Remember, we did a, how do we want to say it? We had Bennington builders do like a patch job on the roof. You know, he did the job that we asked him to do, and he did that job very well. He did the job that we can afford.
Right.
We really need to look into trying to find some grants, because this building needs some serious roof work. As soon as we get some better weather, and very soon, we're gonna have to get the crane back up here, get a couple of different contractors here, and write us back and come up with something. Because, you know, I'm kind of hoping we get some extra money for David, and the bids are cheap, and we can just add it in like pork fat, you know, they do with the big bills. Because, you know, again, this is a huge building, and we need to deal with it. So, other than that, you know.
But how imminent is we going to have to do something? Is this?
This year. You know, again, David, we can just let it go and go and go.
I'm just saying it's probably too late to get in a grant cycle that would help us this year.
I don't know. We might, once we get some snow off and the roofers, I mean, it was 1 degree out when we were out there. Once we get up there, we get some snow, we can take some pictures, and we can decide on, can we just put another Band-Aid on it, get a year or two, and then go for the big job, or what? But we're gonna have to do a little surgery. The problem is, the rubber roofing, it's a short sill, so let's say it's a 2-foot roof, for just lack of measurements. So it's 2 foot, the rubber roofing goes across, and goes up under the slate that's alongside this whole building. And the question is nobody knows how much slate has to come off. Is it 3 rows, is it 10 rows? And, you know, it's slated from the bottom up, right? It's like we shingle a roof. So when you take it off, you take it from the top down, you know, and they can put slate hooks. I mean, they don't have to take it all off, but we don't know how far that goes.
Well, even if the membrane itself goes up further, we can decide what is going to be beneficial, and we could actually just take the 3 courses, slice the membrane that's up there, as long as we're
Yeah, we
protecting what we need to protect. You don't have to go up as high as whatever they put up, though.
Yes, I would say that that is that is a valid statement, but we're gonna have to take some, from an experience.
From someone who actually knows what they're talking about?
What is there, because that could be some of the, that could be, you know, like they put tar paper on a roof to protect. I mean, we could get up, you're absolutely right, and that would be probably best case scenario. You know, I don't know. You know,
Sure.
I have no idea. Hopefully somebody's got some great whiz bang thing and we can mop on it. I don't think so. I did have a meeting with our roofer that was here that won that bid. We're not looking at like a $5,000 fix, we're looking like at a $20,000 fix, you know? And nobody can tell until they start taking it apart, and that's gonna be a big,
But more than likely, a building this old, it's going to be worse than we...
you know, we thought we would be a $1,500 slate repair, and we only did the clock tower, and there's slate repair on the backside of the building that had been touched.
Right.
And until we decided how we were gonna do the roof, they said, you know what, let's just leave that, because they went over and they poked them, and they said, you know, where these were gonna fall. And there's a panel cut out about this, I mean, they had to do framing up in there, and, you know, and, I don't know if you've ever been up in that crawl space, but, you know, it's not, you know, up, down, you know, so it's a good thing we have a building here.
Yep.
To help them out a little bit.
When was the roof done?
Roof was done in, I would,
95.
oh, when was the roof done? Oh, I can't answer that.
The membrane, I mean,
95.
95?
So, I mean, they have a shelf life, like, usually, I want to say 20 years, so 95 is,
We're about 15, we're about 17, 18 years right now.
15.
We're running right at the end of it.
Now, did we do all that work with the grant, Laurie?
Yep, most of it.
Was that probably it was an enhancement grant,
Right.
which I don't think this would qualify
It was
anymore.
$7,000 to do that, remembering that, isn't that what you're talking about? the
Yeah.
Roof.
But, well, it all depends, there's like 4 roofs on this building. There's
Right.
one on
Right.
our porch,
Right?
and that's the one that George put a coating on a couple years ago when we painted the building. And then there's the sills, which are those narrow sections, we're gonna call them 2 feet just for lack of a better measurement. They go around the building, and then there's the flat roof, and then there's the roof on top of the clock. Plus, our building is sided with those slates, which is a roofing system,
Right.
you know.
Same problems.
You're right, yes, same problems. Probably not as much water back out because it's so steep, but,
Yeah, but if this understructure starts rotting, you're...
right, you know, we know, hopefully technology is improved. Well, we got 15 to 18 years, 20 years out, maybe we'll get 30 out of the next product. You know, it's right out here in the sun, there's no shade on it, it's gonna be up, and it is what it is.
It's only as good as what you put it on top of, so.
Right, I mean, we're gonna have to, I'm very comfortable with the roofer that was here about his expert opinion. He's willing to help us, write a spec and then bring other bidders into it to fix, you know, and we need somebody to help us write a spec because we don't know, you know what I mean? And then we can look at it and decide on what pieces of it, and we can write it in different levels of this building to fix, what we can afford. I don't know. And we're gonna seriously have to start looking for some money somewhere. You know?
Well, let me just start doing the research around and see what grants. I know the enhancement grant has been changed because this would have been a prime thing to qualify for that, but now they're not giving money for those kind of projects.
Right.
So it'll probably have to be some kind of historic preservation grant. There aren't a lot of them around, but
This is,
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I don't know if usage makes it into it, I mean, just something.
I just want, yeah, the
What kind
state
of boats George
has,
What kind of, with the rail system coming through possibly.
yeah, like
maybe we're willing to
get that
jump in,
train
throw some
back,
money
we'll
at
put
it.
it on
Listen,
on the building upgrades, yeah.
You know, anything's possible. You know, we know that, this is the steamship of the village, you know what I mean? So, we made some pretty good strides. You know, our heat has definitely went down until we get the numbers at the end of the year. But we walk in this building, especially the other side, after we had a weather strip on those cold days. And the temperature set at 54 degrees in this building most of the time. And usually go to the other side and it's like 68 because the thermostat, the cold air is just coming in. Now that room is actually like 55 degrees. We tightened it up considerably with our windows and again, the weather strip.
Good.
And there was a crack in the door, a half inch, you could stick a pinky through.
Yeah.
And it's still there, but at least there's something on the other side. So,
I don't know, I don't know anything about it, but there's a state institutions bill or fund that's for,
State institutions.
well, I mean, yeah, I would have to research, or we'd have to research the budget to see, and I don't know how far in advance you have to get into it too, and what qualifies.
Well, most of these
but-
have grant cycles, and you, I mean,
Yeah,
got a one-
this isn't a grant,
what-
this is an annual appropriations.
Okay.
So I don't know. But I think contacting our legislators
yeah.
to see.
maybe we could put
Might
up
be
some
there.
rubber, tar, material, you know.
Band-Aid for now, and
Yeah, some sort of Band-Aid and say, okay, that's gonna get you through a year, we can go into that, you know.
Eventually, it's going to have a true fix to it, which isn't going
Yeah,
to,
we
which is
need-
going to be expensive.
Right, we need to start looking at it, and so we can start planning for it. And again, a couple, you know,
I found pretty
couple
much,
people's opinion, let's get a couple doctors here and see what they all say.
anything can be put off for a year. There's usually that semi-fix that'll get you at least a year to move along.
Yeah, you're right.
At least give you time to get in touch with some money streams.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't really have, there's not really a lot going on, you know, winter is here, it's really here.
It was supposed to be here the other day and didn't happen.
Yeah, well, it actually did, it was
Not what I was expecting.
not what we were expecting. It's still, you know, those storms when we have that inch, you know, today we were calling it, that storm is almost as expensive as this snow. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and it really is. You know, tomorrow morning I'm gonna order another load of salt. We can't be, you know, can't be on the back end of it.
Well, we're supposed to get something in later this week.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday. I mean,
Yeah.
enough to, like you said, enough to bring you out and,
Our weather source said it kind of is fizzling out. The chances are like 1 in 10 now.
Okay.
It's gonna come in. But, you know, we get a lot of winter events.
yep.
That's right.
So other than that, but before we leave, I think take a walk on the other side and
Sure.
just look at a few things.
Okay, Norm? Next item is the Development Review Board. The only thing I'm aware of there is the owner of the nursing home at the top of Prospect Street has contacted the review board again, trying to see, because he hasn't had any success with finding anybody who can use that building within the current zoning restrictions. The one thing he thought, that we all thought might be a good idea is Brack was thinking of making it into a multifamily, low-income dwelling, but their conclusion was that it wouldn't, the yard is not big enough to have parking and recreation area for kids, that it wouldn't be an appropriate use of that property, so he's back to ground zero again. So anyways, the Development Review Board are all going to go up, take a look at the property and see if they can come up with some ways that would be agreeable to both sides. Their original idea is they were looking, the college was looking at it as for dormitory space, which all the people in the area were definitely against, and it wouldn't fit our zoning regulations.
Were they looking to use it as it exists, or were they looking to purchase and expand?
They were going to have to make some modifications, but not major apparently, which I think it's probably a building that would suit their needs fairly well. But it's not within the zoning regulations to allow something like that, and they'd have to change the zoning, and the residents in the nearby areas say they're not so sure they want to have, how's it going to be maintained? And anyway, so they're going to try and do that this month to try and see if they can help them out to at least get I think what the Development Review Board is thinking, if they don't do something, it's just going to sit there and turn into an eyesore.
Right.
They can't get some good use out of it. Because it's a fairly, I think it's a fairly attractive building that somebody should be able to do something with. But-
They're maintaining it. They're plowing it.
Oh, yeah, they're maintaining it still, but I mean, but if,
It's
He
not
said
to the
it's
level
getting
that
to a
it used to
point.
be, but, you know.
They're gonna need to maintain it at least
but
to
he
keep
said,
appearances
you know,
up.
I'm keep putting money into this, and at some point, I'm just going to have to say, if I can ever use it, just let it go. I don't have any news from the fire department, anything, water board. So I guess we're up to new business. Anybody got any new business to throw at us?
I have nothing.
Okay. Old business, the only thing I have on that is, if you remember at the last meeting, there was a group from the Perrin Creek Co-op that was looking for a building to, so Rachel and I took them over to see the building here across, you know, the Joe McGovern's storage area, and they think that would be perfect. It's, there's no heat, but it has two big overhead doors that they said it'd be great. They can back the truck up, unload without carrying stuff upstairs, like, you know, they have to go up a flight of stairs now to get it in and out. And all they would only be using it once every 4 weeks. And they would have a freezer. They said they have a freezer and a refrigerator that they have only on while they're storing stuff.
Plug it in the
for
day
people
before
to
they
come and take
deliver
it out.
and-
Right, right. And the refrigerators there, well, not to keep things cold, but to keep them from freezing.
Which is, yeah.
Right. Anyways, it looks like we have a meeting of the syndicate tomorrow, and I don't see why anybody would object to that kind of use. In fact, I was telling them, I don't know that there's many people in the village that are even aware that this co-op exists.
No, I bet you.
I've never heard of it before.
No,
No, not until.
And I
we get on the
think,
agenda.
so they agreed, and they said they're probably going to take on do some promotional work.
Good.
To get more people, because there's only got like, I think it's like 20, 25 members now.
Now, what are the plans for that building back there?
No
Otherwise,
plans.
none?
We don't have any plans for it. The only thing we were thinking of is maybe we could dress it up a bit and make it suitable for a gallery to go along with the art park in the summer, but that'd be a short-term use again.
Right.
Okay, any other old business?
I just have one thing. I heard from Mark and Matthew. It's the expense report.
Oh, yes, no.
I didn't hear from either of
No,
you.
I meant to bring that up.
I'd like to release that.
No, it agreed with the figures I had.
Okay.
Oh, so you wanted to know even if we agreed with it? Because I didn't have any.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
That's
yes,
cool.
okay, sorry. Yeah, it was
Okay,
fine.
great, thanks.
So, that's it for old business? We're going to be out on time tonight. Anybody have anything that we need to go into executive session for?
Actually, I'm sorry, one other thing. The changing of the speed limit on West Street. Remind me what we decided on that. Were we going to try to move
Well-
forward on that? What was the next step for us?
You mean on the library?
No, on West Street. She was,
She was-
Oh,
in
yeah,
addition to
Yeah,
the
by the
shrubs, she was
library,
asking
yeah.
about changing the speed limit. And because
Right.
we'd already done it near you on Hillside, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Are we moving forward on that, or is that something we are?
Well, you know, I was surprised, and of course, I don't live in the village center here, but I guess I assumed that all the speed limit within the village proper was the same, and I was
No, it's
surprised
not.
when, yeah.
It's very much it's scattered.
So I wonder why that is. I mean, if we're going to make one change, should the whole downtown area be?
Easy, that's a lot of signs and they're expensive. Roll out on your speed limit. We just need one stop.
We'd only need one sign, Norm.
What, you need one at the outside of the village? You know.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you actually they have to be posted every so often, right?
Do they?
Yeah, I mean, there's a
I'm sure a book this thick.
MUTCD
Yeah.
Do
book,
they?
and it's like this, and, you know, it's a pretty big feat to change a speed limit. I can't tell you right off the hand what the speed limit is on West Street.
It's 30 right now, and
30.
she was looking to do it
Yeah.
at 25,
25.
similar to what we did on Hillside. I'm sorry, I remember
And
reading it in the
Park
minutes, I was gonna ask them.
I mean, and Park Street's 25, so,
Yep,
But 25 isn't appropriate for some areas, like College Road,
right.
which
Well-
is 30.
yes, I don't
Yeah,
mean,
25.
I don't necessarily mean the whole village, but the center of it here.
So how many,
Is it only one or two people that are kind of violating it, you know? You get to the point where it's the same person like speeding around all the time and we're trying to change something instead of trying to fix the one individual, you know what I'm saying? It's not.
I think with that, more the concern was there tends to be a lot of heavy traffic there, and with the school, it really does make sense. I mean, regardless of whether it is one person or not, you would think around a school, 25 would be, especially if, what is it, 200 yards?
Right.
You shouldn't have to
Saturday, it's not
travel.
gonna make a difference whether it's 80
You're
or
right.
20.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, there's not monitoring of it,
Right.
which there
Right.
isn't, then it's not gonna
We
be.
had some emails about the corner, about seeing around there. And I see it, and I believe me, and I see the committee that runs the library saying, well, our bushes are nice and trimmed and they look good, and they do. They absolutely do. That's the only fix, is to cut that bush down.
Right.
Okay, and the only reason that I say that, okay, again, with the MUTCD guidelines, where the sidewalk has to be,
right, you don't have a choice.
where the stop sign, you know, I can move the stop bar maybe 3 inches.
Right.
It's just the way that intersection is set. I'm certainly not telling anybody to cut any bush down anywhere. I just wish it was a little better if there's not somebody in the crosswalk. Most people proceed ahead a little bit, onto the crosswalk, and then go. But for us to maintain a crosswalk there, that's where it's got to be. And there, you know, and unfortunately,
Then you got to have a crosswalk there.
right, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? It'd be nice if we pavilions and jack the building up, move it back a couple feet, set it down, and straighten out that intersection, that'd be great. It's just not gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a busy, there's a lot of people that use that, and all the kids.
Yep.
You know, they come across and then they, well, half of them come across on the crosswalks like they're supposed to, and then wait for the bus, and you know,
So, Norm, do you have a map that shows what the speed limit is where? I'm just I mean, I don't know how many other outliers there might be that,
yes, I have a map with all the street signs on it, and you could look at the legend and then
Figure it
you
out.
could break that down.
I just wonder
You could break that down.
how big a difference it is from one street to the next here.
You know, and Jared used to do all our street signs stuff. He's got it broken down into $6. You could probably actually almost answer that question on top of that. You know, they, like you said, they range from 40 to 30 to 20.
Most of the side streets are either 30
Yeah.
I
or
would say
25. I don't think there are any 35s in town.
logic would tell me that like West Street, Church Street, School Street, it should all be like the same.
All those,
I
Exactly.
agree with David, you know, you're going up College Road,
yeah.
Mechanic Street, those are higher speed roads.
Those are all 30.
But that's with this new MUTCD, the changes that actually got effective in 2012, and you notice when we started a couple of years ago, that everybody was supposed to have every street sign in every town across the United States done by this year, by the start of this year. Well, now they moved it out 3 more years. Even at our plan, we would have never achieved that. You know, now look at any other neighboring communities. You know, we have, probably in the neighborhood of 1,000 signs. $50 a piece, I mean, you start adding them up, so when they get stolen, I get mad.
What are we, 2 square miles and we have that?
This one's stolen, Depot Street, it's down here in the corners, got stolen. There was a brand new sign we just bought, you know? It doesn't bother you so much when they steal the old ones, when they steal the new ones, it doesn't bother. the old ones out because they're rusted in. You know, so it's a lot to it. Sign maintenance and stuff, and you know, in some communities they have one person that's kind of like heads it up, kind of like we did, but that's that person, she full-time job.
I can't imagine how many signs some of these bigger cities have.
Yeah, well,
I mean, if we got 1,000 in our little village, they must
Right, we
have.
call it litter on a stick, and really that's what it is, you know, and you know.
Necessary,
yeah.
Yep.
Wish we did.
But West Street is a difficult street.
West Street's difficult for a lot of things, and you know, one is some of the residents that are transient on that street. You know, this year's been a lot better than years past. Maybe a new crowd came in, maybe we educated the old crowd, I don't know. You know, but it's busy,
Yeah.
you know. It seems to lack off in the summertime, obviously, the school hours. You know, I don't know if the pull around for the school, the drop off area, if it helped, because of the way it's pointed, you really come down
Come
Church
the other
Street.
way.
You would go back out unless you're gonna fool around, or, you know,
Right.
turn around, you're more likely to
Bank
head
Street.
back out Church and then down 67, Bank Street.
Where it was before everybody went down West Street after dropping kids off.
You know,
And
but
it is- I
that
mean-
adds to a lot of traffic going up, you know, instead of coming.
I know myself, if I'm coming down there, I do not stop at the stop sign. I mean, I may slow down, but then I edge myself, because you're not gonna take off from that stop sign.
Which we're not condoning, that type of rule.
Right.
You've
No, I know, but
probably
it is-
made that announcement.
Right, but there's no way of doing it properly, and there's no way of changing it.
It's just the way that intersection is turned, and I will say, and again, I don't know, when I read that email, they talked about the bush, and that would be probably the only thing that would relieve that a little bit better. It wouldn't solve.
still can't
It wouldn't
see.
solve the problem.
You still can't
And that
see.
one corner bush is bigger than all.
No, the only thing you could do
It's not gonna make it.
is figure out how to do a crosswalk different, maybe going over towards Pangea's and,
It
you know,
would,
not-
no, when
not-
that sidewalk isn't complete, you know, that sidewalk dead ends there,
yeah.
you know, it's.
I know it does, that's what I'm saying, there's no good
Yeah.
solution.
No, you could do maybe 45, but then it would be, then there's two of them across the main road.
Right. And if you take the crosswalk out, people are still gonna cross there.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, because that's the natural.
it's the
flow.
main
When you-
sidewalk out.
When you come off Water Street.
On Water Street.
There's a ton of people that just make that big loop every day.
Oh, yeah.
So. It's, what is there now is probably the lesser of the evils.
Right. But should we start things in motion to change that to a 25 mile an hour speed limit? Isn't that one of those things we have to go through a warning and?
Yeah, it'll take a while, we can go ahead.
And I think with that, do we have to have a public,
Yeah, and.
It would have to be
that's-
announced at a meeting first,
Exactly.
get discussions and then so.
Exactly. So it can be on the agenda,
Yeah, we could put it on the
March.
agenda for March.
if you'd like.
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, it's been brought up and we can't just ignore it.
Sure.
I guess I personally, maybe I'll just go check the map out, but or just drive around town and just see how
It won't take 10
consistent or
minutes.
inconsistent, huh?
it would only take 10 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much hit every street.
Right, just to see.
No, it's amazing how many signs are required, because, you know, just looking at the plans for the new intersection, I mean, in that, there's one whole sheet, and just in that one little half a mile, there's like 50 signs.
You know, and again, I'm sure everybody in my place, and, you know, and certainly like Joe Becker runs the town of Bennington, who has the sign shop in his department. We put up two no parking signs, we painted yellow lines, and we painted no parking on the curb, and an hour later, there's a truck parked right there.
Right.
You know, fresh paint, right on Hall Street. You know, and it wasn't the phone guy that had to work on the phone system, right? You kind of get that.
Yeah,
It was just people that just.
Don't care.
Just totally ignore it.
You know, and, you know, so in signage, I mean, we lot of money for it, and,
A lot of times you're.
How
wondering why.
effective is it?
yeah, you know, Mechanic Street says do not park to corner. You know, we can't be clogging up our local law enforcement with every little parking violation person.
Right.
You know, if I catch him tomorrow with a little blue car that's sitting right out here, he's going to get a ticket, because it's been here more than 3 days. with
Right.
Tape on the window, so if they're listening tonight, they might want to move the car. But, you know,
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Boy, David knows